Well, hello and welcome to News Hour on Voice of the People TV. I am Vivian Oguche. Before we begin the news, kindly visit our website www.vop.ng for fresh and trending news. Here are the headlines. Federal government confirms 2009 Asuu agreement remains binding. Also, federal government to release 2024 budget report by September. NIPOST introduces $80 charge on shipments to U.S. And again, several feared dead as boat capsizes in Sokoto. Military renames Operation Safe Haven in Plateau. And Lagos records 8,692 domestic and sexual violence cases in 1 year. In business news, oil share index falls to 0.49%. And in sports news, Ekong and Osimhen lead 23-man Super Eagles squad. In the world of entertainment, Lagos AGN inaugurates new executives. Now the news in detail. The Minister of Education, Tunji Alausa, says the last signed and binding agreement between the federal government and the Academic Staff Union of Universities, Asuu, remains the 2009 agreement. The clarification came in a statement from the ministry's Director of Press, Folashade Boriawo, following what she called misinterpretations of the minister's remarks to newsmen on Thursday. She explained that a renegotiation committee was set up in 2017, which produced the draft NIMI-Briggs agreement in 2021. However, the document was never signed by the federal government. According to Buriawo, when the minister said there was no new agreement with Asuu, he was referring specifically to the unsigned Briggs draft. She stressed that 2009 FGN-Asuu agreement remains the last binding document and assured that government is committed to resolving the long-running dispute in a sustainable way while keeping universities open for teaching and research. Meanwhile, the federal government says the full year 2024 budget performance report will be published by the end of September 2025, alongside consolidated reports for the first and second quarters of 2025. The Budget Office of the Federation explained that the delays were due to verification and reconciliation processes, as well as the transition to an extended fiscal framework. The government added that quarterly publications are expected to resume on schedule going forward. Well, turning to other stories now, the Director General of the Nigerian Technical Aid Corps, Yusuf Yakub, says plans are underway to commercialize the Technical Volunteer Scheme to serve countries in need of professionals. He spoke in Abuja during the deployment of 20 volunteers, including doctors and nurses, to the Gambia. Yakub said the move aims to curb unemployment in Nigeria by engaging the country's abundant youth and expert workforce, while also impacting lives abroad in the spirit of South-South cooperation. And still in the news, the Nigerian Postal Service says starting from August 29, 2025, all parcels sent to the United States, except letters and documents, will attract a prepaid customs duty of $80 or is Naira equivalent at the point of acceptance. In a statement, NIPOST explained that the charges follow a new U.S. government policy under an executive order suspending duty-free treatment for all countries. The agency noted the directive applies to postal operators worldwide, meaning the new duty affects all global inflows into the U.S., not just shipments from Nigeria. Tragically now, another boat tragedy has occurred in Sokoto State, this time in Shagari local government, with many passengers feared missing. The special advisor to Governor Ahmed Aliyu at the State Emergency Management Agency, Aminu Bondiga, confirmed the incident, which happened on Thursday. He said officials from SEMA, in collaboration with NEMA and the Inland Waterways Authority, have been deployed for search and rescue operations. According to Bondiga, the boat carrying several passengers capsized and threw everyone on board into the river. And now the Defense Headquarters has renamed Operation Safe Haven to Operation Ensuring Peace to strengthen efforts against insecurity in its operational areas. Chief of Defense Staff General Christopher Musa announced the rebranding during a ceremony in Jos Plateau State. He said the new name reflects a broader mandate and renewed purpose, emphasizing a commitment to lasting peace, not just temporary safety. Well, let's bring you back to Lagos now, where the state government says it recorded 8,692 cases of domestic and sexual violence between August 24 and July 2025. Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice Lawal Pedro disclosed this at a news conference to launch the 2025 Domestic and Sexual Violence Awareness Month. He said domestic violence made up 3,685 cases, the highest during the period. The state also secured over 140 convictions and obtained 6 restraining orders. Pedro, represented by a permanent secretary, Olarewaju Oyenuga, said the figures reflect government's zero tolerance for sexual and gender-based violence. He listed Alimosho, Ichiosa, Ikorodu, Kosofe, and Oshodi Solo as councils with the highest adult-related cases, while Ikorodu, Kosofe, Badagry, Alimosho, and Oshodi Solo topped the chart for child-related cases. In another development, security agencies in Rivers State have staged a show of force to reassure residents of their safety. The exercise, which began at the Police Command Headquarters in Port Harcourt, featured a convoy of patrol vehicles from the Police, Army, Navy, Civil Defense, Road Safety Corps, and other agencies. The joint team moved through major streets in Port Harcourt and Obiakpo, displaying, readiness to maintain peace before, during, and after the polls. Earlier, the State Commissioner of Police, Olugbenga Adepoju, assured residents of adequate security and said the deployment of personnel and logistics will help ensure a free and credible election. Well, joining us in the studio to analyze the news hour is Frank Ayala. He is a banker and public affairs analyst. Frank, you are welcome.
Good evening. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us. So, the Minister of Education, Tunji Alausa, says that the last signed binding agreement between the federal government and the Academic Staff Union of Universities remains the 2009 agreement. This clarification was made just yesterday and Thursday. Prior to that, the federal government, in fact, the Minister of Education has said there was no agreement, that it was just a draft, and that Asuu saying it was going to go on strike was unfair to the government. A day later, he came back to make this clarification to say, oh, what he meant was that there was a draft in 2021, but it wasn't an agreement. It's still the 2009 agreement that is binding. What on earth do you think is happening here?
It's really embarrassing that a government will come in the open to say the last binding agreement was done in 2009. The question we are asking and will continue to ask, which document have they been implementing? Because I remember under our former president, Asuu, rest in peace, Buhari, there was a strike for about 8 or 9 months. Before that strike we had called off, we understand that we had a series of meetings. Was there not an agreement within those meetings as well? Then two, if you listen to the minister, he said a committee was drafted to renegotiate in 2017.
Yes.
Within 2017 and 2009, that is about 8 good years. Are we saying that we are running the Asuu? So sometimes when they come out to give all these kind of figures, it sounds as if we are jokers. We don't know what we're doing. You have an agreement in 2029. We are still discussing it in 2025. 2009 to 2025 is 16 years. So if the government of the day, or government is a continuous thing. They are not the one that wrote the agreement. 2009 was a government under Jonathan, which I believe Jonathan started in the implementation. The implementation was broken into 4 stages. Quarterly will be released on Monday. I don't know how far they've gone with that agreement. But since then till now, which agreement were they not implementing? Because when Asuu come out, we are going on strike. We hear strike. We don't hear, okay, we are calling up strike. They suspended strike. That's what we hear most time. With the suspended strike, what agreement were they now we now reach for them to suspend the strike?
That's $1 million question. But just for context, so that the viewer would understand, the minister had said that a renegotiation committee was set up in 2017, which produced the draft NIMI Briggs agreement in 2021. So the argument of the minister is the updated document is a draft, the 2021 one.
So from 2017, so we are still working on the draft document. It has not been finalized. Are we really a serious nation here? No wonder their children are being taken to abroad to go and continue their education there, because they know what they are doing to. Why will a government sit down for 2017 to date? It's about 8 years. So this draft is sitting on somebody's desk and nobody's looking at it. No wonder the Asuu themselves have become very arrogant in terms of going on strike. Anytime the Asuu go on strike, it's not the government. They create a lot of problem for the parents. Because the parents are the first people who take the direct hit when their children are on strike. Then the crime will increase. Social vibe will increase. In your report now, you see there were sexual violence across the local government. The effect of drugs.
You want to talk about that right now? Let's talk about it, because one of the issues I really wanted to talk to you about.
Because students are going on strike. When students go on strike, those social vibe will increase.
So you're saying useful restfulness, idleness,
create room for all those social
the reason why we have, increase in sexual violence.
Exactly. If you see the level of trading of drugs everywhere now, they measure we should do is solo. You dare not raise up your children in that locations.
No, but there are children that are being raised up in those locations.
Then what are the effects of those children? Sometimes you drive around Lagos, see small children walking on the traffic. Somebody played a video to me yesterday, sent it to me. You said you see a boy that is about 7 years and 9 years. They've been introduced into drugs. How will those people not be violent in terms of whatever they want to get? So these are the issues. The government ought to create room for a strike. I don't know how they call it. Suspension of academic section for a minute. Because the effect of that is what goes to splint over in the society. And that's asking some other criminal issues that will put us on a bad light in the global market. So for me, the government should please, they should forget the draft, they should solidify the draft and sign it into agreement and implement it. Let the Asuu do their job. Because it's bad enough that the Asuu, the students, the lecturers, they are not even enjoying. No wonder the government recently suspended the establishment of a new university. Because they know the one that is currently ongoing, they will not be taken good care of. So they need to consolidate those documents, make it an agreement, and execute it.
All right, so
not draft for 8 years. Draft for 8 years.
That's a safe place for us to land on that particular one. But I want us to push further the case of sexual violence you talked on earlier on, which is on the front burner right now. The naming and shaming of victims is also said to be one of the factors why people who have been victimized
do we really
will not come out to
exactly, that is the issue. Because the societal there is a moral in Africa. Let's agree that there's a level of moral decay that we are seeing today that people are not proud of. What leads to social violence? So many issues. Depressions lead to social violence. When a guy feels, oh, I deserve this lady, I cannot walk onto her because I don't have the social backup in terms of finances, you start thinking of alternative. Then again, some of our ladies have also made themselves vulnerable from the way they do things. Go to some clubhouse, you see the way they are. The issue of drugs is destroying us. I pray government come to that reality to combat the issue of drug abuse. There was a report that was shown in channels today that within the military in the war zone, drug abuse is becoming very alarming. Within the military now, those are people who ought to
Those are enforcers of the law.
Those are enforcers of the law. So if among the enforcers of the law, then the abuse is becoming very high, what do you think will happen to the streets?
In other words, you're saying lawmakers have become lawbreakers. That's what you're saying. But let's
Invariably, I won't say they are lawbreakers because
okay.
they have also not been tried and be convicted.
Okay.
It is the court that has the absolute right to say this person has broken the law, not me and you. Maybe that has made, since the report was coming from their own website, it's a thing they need to look at and quickly, because when somebody is on drugs, you give this person is with harm.
Yeah, but apart from this issue of drugs, there are also other systemic issues that have resulted in increase in sexual violence.
Yes.
Take, for example, the lack of proper investigation that will lead to prosecution of
no
perpetrators.
punishing of people that have committed the crime.
Exactly.
Then again, you now go back to the corruption in Nigerian police system and the judicial processes. This is because the police had the sole responsibility to investigate and possibly push for prosecution. If those people are not diligent in their reports, people, this age and time, people feel the law now is becoming, the judge, the court is becoming ayabida. So, if you look at all this, I said government need to do something. When Obasanjo said corruption is the twin brother of inefficiency, when there's corruption, things does not work. Things do not work. Now, how? Someone is accused of sexual violence. And also to prove it's a very equivalent task to prove sexual violence. Very difficult. Mostly because sexual violence is coming from too many. Except we are looking at the physical side. What of the emotional part of it? You don't have evidence. And somebody's on there going those emotional pressure.
I'm glad you mentioned this, because the woman, for example, if she's sexually assaulted, she's expected to bring proof.
If it's not there to say it, looking at our tradition, oh, now my husband, oh, now my friend.
So stigma.
Now. Stigmatization of so many lines. So they need to also let us know the templates which somebody can use to say, okay, looking at the template, looking at the checklist. If somebody has found one thing on this line, I can report it to the police. If you report to the police again, do you have the financial the money to follow up? Because police, before you go into the police station, they'll say you need to pay. I went to a police station recently within Lagos, and police said we should pay for paper. They don't have biro to give you to write statements. Okay, let me go out and get a pen. You say if I go out, I can't come back.
So what are you supposed to do?
Now, somebody that want to go and push the case, that want to go and report the case of sexual violence, how do you go about it? So there are so lot of issues that we need to go back to the fundamentals. What are the fundamentals? The government need to tell us this. Then again, somebody also said something recently. In Western world, you start teaching the children the issue of law when they are in primary school. Is it that man that is already driving Okada to survive is something that will now say you should go back to class of one? So there are a lot of issues. But to deal with those, when we are trying to deal with those people that have committed such crime, be transparent about it, make it open. Let people learn for it. Send the final judgment to schools. Use it to teach those children that are in the classroom that if you do this, these are the punishment. If you do this, so that's where the issue of naming and shaming come about. But these days, people are they really ashamed of committing crime? When people go to church to go and give testimony for making money without a codent and a job, so there are a lot of issues that. Then again, if they are able to come with those numbers, 863 or whatever, that means they're waking up. They should continue. We need to strengthen it, but you need to let Nigeria know what constitutes those crimes, so that somebody will not be wrongly be accused. Then send it to Kri. But so many people are in detention now for you can't never know about, because they couldn't foot the bailing issues.
Yeah,
that's my summation of that.
Perfect. It's also important to mention that Lagos State government says it has successfully prosecuted over 140 cases when it comes to domestic and sexual violence.
They should publish the name.
Really?
Yeah.
Of offenders?
Of offenders. That will also make people to, oh, these people, this. If we don't know, then again, the people they prosecuted, are they actually the one that committed the crime? Or somebody alleged? Where are the proof? So many issues.
All right.
But we started. We need to continue. No system is perfect. There's a room for improvement. So I think on this, I might add good for them.
All right.
They've done well.
That's a safe place to land, yeah? Let's move on to something else now. So the Director General of the Nigerian Technical Aid Corps, Yusuf Yakub, says plans are underway to commercialize the Technical Volunteer Scheme to serve countries in need of professionals. Now, he said this is done in order to reduce unemployment in Nigeria and also to serve the larger globe. Frank, I don't know if you're happy about this. I know when I was reading it, you were nodding your head.
I don't think something I need to be happy about. Reason being that.
Okay.
What are the model? What is the model the government have developed? These are people that volunteer on their own volition, then pay their bills. You see, sometimes it is good we come out, we should have a technical, we should have a model for identifying those guys. Somebody said something recently. Falcon, antagonist. Those ladies, if you watch them, they were doing their training on their own capacity.
Are you talking about the Super Falcons?
The Super Falcons. The government were never there for them. Some of them, they are not even in Nigeria. But to God be the glory, they were able to bring those trophy back home, and we celebrated it. And at the end of the government give them 150 million naira each, naira equivalent of the USD. What does that also say? The military man that is facing the Boko Haram, like 800,000 for a month, do you think he's happy? These are the issues. There must be a model. There must be a road map. There must be a template that when you do this, so that people will see that template from the beginning. Because our president have rewarded those ladies now. What of the next government coming who might not see any reason for sport? So then again, looking at what they say they want to do, you want to export them to other people that need their service, am I correct? To bleach the gap of unemployment. Do we really have the number of people that are unemployed? What are the level of unemployment?
No, I want to understand what you just said. Are you saying do we have data?
There's no data
to know the number of
people that are really unemployed. Because recently we read the report that 133 million Nigerians are living below poverty. That means they are all unemployed. How many of those numbers?
Well, not all unemployed. Maybe some underemployed.
Underemployed, okay. Then now, when you are a contract staff in any organization, no matter what pay, you are underemployed. Because it does not have pension, does not have gratuity, no medical facility, you are underemployed. So, for me, I'm not saying what they've done is wrong. I'm saying we need to work on a database. We must have a data to say, okay, this is exactly the problem. This is why I want to provide solution to this problem. If we do this, these are the effect on the people. Then if we also do this, if this is the effect, on the long run, this is what the government stand to benefit and the people start to benefit. Not just to come out because you are given a platform to say something, we just want to impress the media. So that's my submission on that.
All right, fantastic. Let's talk about, the Rivers LG polls that's upcoming. There's been a show of force by the security apparatus. In fact, there's been restriction of movement as well. Considering what's happened in Rivers State, the suspended governor of Ubara is still suspended. His godfather, erstwhile godfather, Wike, is still on board.
Why is the Supreme Court not sitting on that judgment? Why are they not coming out with a judgment? There is a judgment there is a court case that was sued by the PDP governors to test the law. Does Tinubu has the right to suspend the constitution of Rivers State? By suspending the governor, you suspended the democratic process of a state. Does Tinubu have the power? Question one. Supreme Court should come out to tell us yes or no. Because for a military or police to be doing what we call show of force, recently Ghana has an election last year. People were going to the office and they were voting. America just have an election. Why must we, this Nigeria, show force for your citizens, armless citizens that are not with arms? There, and also, I don't think any reasonable Nigerian will believe that there's going to be an election in Rivers State. It's just to perfect the system to say, okay, there was an election. I believe they already have the result. If you watch the governor is not saying anything. I believe part of the agreement they have with them is allow this election to go their own way.
Why are you saying this? Because there's a sole administrator.
There's a sole administrator that's not supposed to be the one to conduct the election.
Yeah, but there's going to be an election.
There's going to be an election. Then
there is the electoral umpire. There are voters.
Then again, if tomorrow the Supreme Court now go the other way that the declaration of state of emergency was illegal, then those elections become null and void.
But we are not there yet.
So those are the issues. These are the issues that Supreme Court by now ought to have heard that matter decide that matter before this election. Yes, we are going for a jamboree that going to cost, we're going to spend money for nothing.
You call it a jamboree?
It's a jamboree because if Supreme Court will now say the president does not have such power, where did he get power? If you listen to the vice president, Shettima, sometime back, that when Jonathan wanted to declare state of emergency then in the heat of Boko Haram,
when he was the governor of Borno,
yes, advised the president that you do not have such power to declare, to remove an elected governor.
But it wasn't just Adoke himself. Also, the then sitting House of Reps Speaker,
Tombawa.
Yes, Tambawa.
So, if you look at it, if those statements is anything to go by, then where is Tinubu getting his power?
That's a billion-dollar question. So, wouldn't you say the National Assembly is also complicit in this?
I don't think we have National Assembly as it stands today.
But we do.
If you listen to Akpabio's statement sometime on Wednesday on Tuesday, he said, what money cannot buy, more money will buy it. What more money cannot fix, then the ego will fix it. What does that tell you? The power of the city sit down. That means it's said to go the way of the president. Even when it's against the law.
You remember the song On Your Mandate Will Stand?
Those are the issues that is making Nigeria to. I won't be surprised tomorrow if people will not turn out from Rivers State for election.
Oh, so you're saying there might be voter apathy?
Heavily. People might not, because we already know, without considering to the fact that they might be rigged. I think they already have a direction. It's part of 2027 coming to play. Okay, because the grassroots, whoever control the grassroots, to a very large extent determine where the votes swing. So, for me, it's an appeal to our lordship to quickly sit on that issues, let Nigeria has know where we are going, so that if it's legal, people will have the confidence to come out. If it's not legal, they will tell them, say, please, these are not things you need to do, looking at ABCD. They are the lordship. They are the one that interprets the law. So they should interpret it according to the details of the law, not according to somebody that sits there in his government house. But if you listen to Akpabio, what money cannot get, more money will get it. What more money cannot get, the ego. Like, the ego is the coat of arm on their seat, will swing whatever they want to do. So for me, I think it is time Supreme Court don't sit. This is not time for them to sit on the fence. They need to let, because they say the court is the last hope of the common man. Unfortunately, I don't think that is what we have today.
All right, let's talk about the tariff hike. NIPOS has introduced $80 charge, an $80 charge on shipments to the U.S. Now, why is this news? It looks like there's been series of increments, when it comes to essential commodities in Nigeria. Not too long ago, the passport was increased, from an amount to a bigger amount. Then
again,
what does this mean for Nigerians, though?
These are where the imported inflation is coming on board. Somebody that's going to go and pay $80. $80 is close to about 120,000 naira. It's going to move it to people that are going to buy the product. This is a shipment outside. Am I correct?
To the U.S.
To the United States of America. Then people that go to buy it there, you see, this is how it works. They're moving that cost to them. Also that we are also importing some things from America. Vice versa. So this is what is creating hyperinflation. Imported inflations today. How? Passport was increased from 52,000 naira to 100,000 naira. The same reason Olubumi Tunde Ojo, the current minister for Interior, the guy has done fantastically well among all the ministers. I can personally point to him that he has done well. There's always room for improvement. Sometimes because of the body language of who you work for, it sounds like a broken record. When he was increasing passport from the initial price of 32,000 naira to 54,000, 56, he said people will be getting their passport within a week or two. I applied for my daughter's passport in March 24. March 24. Is it March 24? March. Second week of March. I didn't get that passport in May 19. Is that 2 weeks? So, these are people sometimes think that maybe Nigerians forget things easily. Tell Nigerians there's a need to increase it, maybe because you know that your naira is becoming like a paper, you have the value of currency. You need to match up. But do not say because you want to be effective and efficient, you want to increase price. Because at the end of the day, we go back to status quo. I just started exam. It took 2 months for me to get my daughter's passport out.
Right. So it's important to mention that what just happened now is reactionary. NIPOS explained that the charges follow a new U.S. government policy under an executive order suspending duty-free treatments for all countries.
Okay.
So this is like a boomerang.
Yeah,
yes,
for sure.
Sort
Definitely.
of. So it's not just Nigeria.
Definitely. If we are paying $80 because we are going out, by the time we are not taking it from America to Nigeria, we might be $150. So those are the imported inflations. If we are to, I don't know, I just pray for this country. Because please, an appeal. We've not seen the justification from 54,000 naira to 100,000 naira. You need to let us know the component of how the cost got to that, because I don't think the printing has changed. You can't be increasing about 98% in a single line of product.
Are you talking about the passports?
The
now?
passport. That's about 98%. If our calculations start from 52,000 naira to 100,000 naira, that's about 92 or 93%. So for me, it's an appeal. It's on the high side. This government want to make money. Unfortunately, the more money government make, the poorer become because you are weakening the purchasing power of the Nigerian people.
Right. It's important to note that this administration, when it came on board, said it had inherited a bankrupt economy from the previous administration.
I don't want to align myself with their school of thought, because they were part of the government.
Okay.
So if they were part of the government, when the government was going into bankruptcy, what were he saying? Or rather, when he was campaigning, he told that he go to continue for where Buhari stopped.
That's the continuation.
And he said we shouldn't pity him, that he asked for the job. Those are the languages. There were 3 languages that he actually picked from our president. He said he's going to continue for where Tinubu stopped, where Buhari stopped. We shouldn't pity him because he requested for the job. If by every means possible we did not give us light, we shouldn't vote for him for second tenure. Do we have the light now? If I thought for some people that have the light, what is the cost? So we are not saying don't do ABC according to what you think will better the life of Nigeria. We are saying give us electricity that is affordable. Give us good health, medical facility that is affordable. Do not come out to tell Nigerians that you are still working on a draft copy of an agreement since 2017. It's an aberration. The world will laugh at us. He went to Brazil to say there's no more corruption in Nigeria. It was an insult to Nigerian sensitivity. When you are there saying all those ones, and they are telling you back home, that these people can, okay, look at Sokoto. Have you watched the video of that, the ship that capsized? You see the number of people that was on that thing. The numbers. So I think I will also advise the Sokoto government to think of the waterway transportation network for people. Let government take over. Don't leave it on the hand, because there will not be security, there will not be standard, there will not be safety standard when individual, by their nature, everybody want to make profit. The work of the government is security and the welfare of the people. So profit does not come on board. Unfortunately, Tinubu is making profit. So the Sokoto state government should please, because it become one too many. These are the life of people.
You know, you already told us how these recurring issues of boat mishaps can be nipped in the bud, because you said it should be moved from private hands
to the government. There will be a strict regulation from the government.
So, I mean, it's a fact. I'm glad you said that. But also, don't you think training, even if it's going to be handled strictly by government, there must be intense training, right?
The interest will still come from the government, not from the individual.
Okay.
Because by the human nature, individual don't want to spend money, want to spend 1 naira to make 100 naira. Because
it's important to know that these boat mishaps do not just occur in the north, like in Sokoto alone.
It's across board. It's across the waterway. So the government across board, not the federal government, and the state government, should please come into that business. Like in Lagos now, you only hear such a thing in Lagos. Because Lagos are taking charge of their waterways. I think I also give it to Lagos state government for that. There's a template that they are working on. You only hear those boat mishaps in Lagos, like as is frequent in Sokoto, Benue, another neighboring village state. Okay. So I think I give it to Lagos State on that, really.
One last thing I want you to talk about is the renaming of Operation Safe Haven to operation ensuring peace, right? The military has come to say that this renaming is a reflection of a broader mandate and a renewed purpose. This happened actually in Plateau State. What do you make of this, though?
It's not about the name. It's about the science behind the name.
Okay.
How? We just read the report that the military at the war front are seriously abusing the drugs. What kind of peace will those one provide? That's one. Then the guy says it's not about the name. It's about the mindset behind the name. The military guys at the war front, they are suffering. There was a video that went viral recently where a military man said 70,000 naira, he has not been able to go and see his family for a very long time. There is the human nature. When somebody is confronted when you are confronted to a particular location for too long, it's certain dissatisfactions. You get easily provoked. So our military should not be at the war front for more than 90 days. Some of them have been there for 4 years, 5 years, 6 years. So renaming it is good. But the question we're asking, what is the science behind that renaming? Anybody can say from good luck to this. What has changed?
So you're saying the foot soldiers must be well taken care of?
That is number one change we need to see. The soldier must be well catered for. And those people, then when we are fortunate to arrest some of all those promoters of, recently, I think I stumbled into a report sent by Dubai that 400 Nigerians were identified for sponsoring terrorism in Nigeria. Where is that report? Then, if God help us, the soldier, they work 247 to arrest some of all those terrorists. You will not say they were de-radicalized. You give them money back to go to the society. Is that the kind of peace? So the military need to be honest to Nigeria to come out to tell us in a clear terms. If you are overwhelmed, tell us that you are overwhelmed. Recently, the chief of defense staff was telling them to go and be combatant in nature because we want to be self-defense.
You and I, we had that conversation, and he said it was taken out of context.
It was not taken out of context.
But what I hear you say basically is that the financiers of terrorism
need to be punished. That's what we bring the war to our end.
So the federal government is saying they are thinking of publishing their names as well.
Publishing their name is not the name I want to see. They should go through the law, let the law punish them for their crime.
All right. As we wrap this up, though, there is also the issue of firepower. People have said that the military must be armed with sophisticated arms.
When Buhari became president, under this same president that he brought Buhari, according to him.
Who?
Tinubu. That he brought Buhari. 1.4 billion we are taking for our foreign reserve to go and buy Tucano jets. They say they place order for 5 Tucano jets. Today, where is the Tucano jet? What effects have we seen for the jet? So these are not. Nigeria is not interested in this story of we are doing our best. Nigeria want to see, okay, those people that are sponsored, because those guys in the bush, somebody is responsible for their sponsorship. Cut off their source of supply. Then for those people that are not, it's okay, you have committed this crime. Let the trial be transparent. Let the whole world know. So that when the person is convicted, you also know that he was guilty. So the 4 things they must do. Renaming that should be the last one. They should take care of our soldiers. Firearm. They need to provide serious ammunition for those guys to face. Then for those people that will be arrested, please prosecute them according to the law. For those ones that will not be found guilty, allow them to go. For those that will be found guilty, punish them according to the law. If after all this, that's okay, let's now rename the operations.
That's a safe place for us to land. This has been most insightful, Frank. Thank you so much for joining us today. So I have been speaking with Frank Ayala. He is a banker and a public affairs analyst. You're still watching News Hour on VOP TV. We'll be right back after this short break. Stay with us.
Thank you, madam.
Welcome, everyone. President Bola Tinubu has congratulated Olayinka Babalola on his election as president of Rotary International, describing it as a historic achievement and a source of national pride. Babalola of the Rotary Club of Trans Amadi Port Harcourt was elected by the Rotary International Board after the resignation of Sanku Yun on health grounds. He will assume office on the 1st of July 2026, becoming only the second Nigerian and African to lead the 120-year-old humanitarian organization. In a statement issued by his special advisor on information and strategy, Bayo Onanuga, President Tinubu commended Babalola's dedication to philanthropy and professional excellence, noting his service has delivered projects that uplift lives, strengthen communities, and promote peace. Now, former Nigerian President Goodluck Jonathan is renewing calls for urgent reforms in the country's electoral system. He says issues ranging from the appointment of the INEC chairman to rising political defections highlight the need to strengthen democracy and restore public trust. Nigerians are responding to the call, saying the electoral system must be improved to ensure credibility and accountability. VOPTV's Matthew Gunswada reports.
President Goodluck Jonathan is calling for urgent reforms in Nigeria's electoral system. Speaking at a dialogue on electoral reform in Abuja, Jonathan, represented by the executive director of the Goodluck Jonathan Foundation, Ann Iyonu, highlighted flaws in the nation's electoral process, particularly the method of appointing the INEC chairman and the increasing wave of political defections. While acknowledging the progress made since Nigeria's return to democracy in 1999, Jonathan emphasized that the system still faces serious challenges that threaten fairness, accountability, and inclusion. The former president further recommended that all post-election disputes be resolved before elected officials are sworn into office, warning that leaving cases unresolved disrupts governance and erodes citizens' confidence in the democratic system. As Voice of the People TV, we are on the street speaking with Nigerians to get their reactions to this new call for electoral reform.
The problem that we have in Nigeria is ex-presidents. Some of them, some people is above the law. That's the problem. So they are untouchable. They made themselves untouchable. That when they go against the law, nobody will go after them. So if a government wants this country to be better, let them do the right thing, unite the people, and let them know that whosoever that committed crime should be faced the law.
The only way to amend or to put good to Nigerian electoral system is federal government should make our electoral system to be independent. They shouldn't be the one to be selecting for us who will be the INEC chairman. And they should stop interfering into their affairs. The confusion is too much. The federal government is putting a lot of confusion. Politicians are putting a lot of confusion. They should allow them, make them to be independent, allow them to do their work.
Once you're sincere, when you know the truth, Calvin, the Bible says, if you know the truth will set you free. It's only the truth that will help us achieve credible election in Nigeria. That is short of it. But with the current coalition we have in Nigeria today, they don't like credibility in election. Because everybody is power hungry. And that struggle to get there, they can do and undo.
For me, seriously, this kind of situation we are now in Nigeria, some of them they are enjoying, some of them they are not enjoying the situation we are now. For me, seriously, let's pray. Let's God choose the right person for us in this country.
As we've heard from Nigerians, the call for urgent electoral reforms continue to resonate across the country. However, many believe that strengthening the neutrality of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, will go a long way in deepening our democracy. Matthew Ogunswada, reporting for Voice of the People TV.
Matthew, thank you so much. On the foreign scene now, Turkey has barred Israeli vessels from its ports, prohibited Turkish ships from using Israeli ports, and restricted Israeli planes from entering Turkish airspace. Foreign Minister Hakan Fidan said Ankara has also halted all trade with Israel and called for international measures against it, and as well urged world powers to stop supporting the country. Well, we'll take a short break. When we come back, business news. Stay with us. Well, the all-share index closed the trading session on the 28th of August in negative territory, shedding 691.52 points to finish at 140,557.24. This marked a 0.49% decline from the previous day's level of 141,248.80, despite stronger activity in the market. Trading volume climbed sharply to 885 million shares, up from 682.8 million shares exchanged a day earlier. Meanwhile, market capitalization slipped back below the 89 trillion naira mark, settling at 88.9 trillion naira across 26,163 deals, reflecting the day's bearish mood. In sports news, Captain William Troost-Ekong and striker Victor Osimhen headline Nigeria's 23-man squad for the 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifiers against Rwanda and South Africa. The list released by the Nigeria Football Federation also features Alex Iwobi, Wilfred Ndidi, Raphael Nyedika, Ademola Lookman, Samuel Chukwueze, Cyril Dezes, and Moses Simon. Stanley Nwabali returns in goal, and Calvin Bassey, Olaino, and Bright Osai Samuel among the defenders. Greece-based goalkeeper Adeleye Adebayo and Unity Cup stars Felix Agu and Benjamin Fredericks also made the cut. Cristiano Suche and Tolu Arokodare earned call-ups after strong showings in June's friendly against Russia. The Super Eagles face Rwanda on September 6 in Uyo before traveling to Bloemfontein to meet South Africa on the 9th of September. Well, in the world of entertainment, the Lagos State chapter of the Actors Guild of Nigeria has inaugurated its newly elected leadership with pledges of unity, inclusiveness, and continuity for Nollywood's future. VOPTV Oyindamola Olukuto has the report.
Held at Females Landmark was dedicated to movie screenings, giving young producers, directors, and actors a platform to showcase their work and connect with industry leaders. Actor Rotimi Salami praised the initiative as a platform to build relevance, especially for young filmmakers.
When I read up about NIFS, I'll tell you for a fact that these are one of the events, that we need from organizations, to shoot Nollywood to the next level. As far as I'm concerned, Nollywood is a baby that is just growing. So we have, of course, lots of existing filmmakers that are doing great, but of course we need platform for up and coming. There are lots of people who aspire to be filmmakers, actors, just name it, everything that makes up a film. And these are platforms that are needed for them, for people to get enlightened by those that have been there before, which is one of the things that they did on day one and day two, and also showcasing, the works of those, some supposed up-and-coming producers that their works have not probably hit, the major mainstream or limelight. It's an avenue to bring these guys that are not yet known and are doing something great with those people that can actually take their job to the next level, which is by helping you get your job on some streaming platforms or taking it to the cinemas or even expanding it when the opportunity comes. So trust me, this is a very good event, and I would say kudos to the organizers of this event.
Producer Olashende Samuel, whose film was screened and who also spoke on Day One, Summit not only gave visibility to his work, but also showcased filmmakers' creativity on a grand stage.
I know it's a very good platform because, every opportunity to have creatives in the film industry come together, to rub minds, teach each other, and exhibit our works to one another. I think it's always worth it because that's the convergence we need. Because it's in that convergence we are going to find out what's next. Where are we? What can we do better? What are they doing in other countries that we are not doing here? It is in that convergence we can know. We can know it as individuals, being on our sets or being in our own production offices. So yeah, it's worth it.
The event compare, who anchored, applaud the summit consistency, describing it as impactful from start to finish.
It's been incredible. So this is like day 3, and which is basically all about screening. So we screen both known movies and unknown movies. So it gives also upcoming producers an opportunity to showcase their movies. So what Ijoma tried to do, Ijoma is the founder of NEF, so she wanted to make sure that conversations about Nollywood movies go beyond the shores of Nigeria. So when you go to very foreign international markets now, we can talk about Nollywood. So it is a good one. So it's been on for the 8th year. So it's been incredible. And a lot of conversations, connections, partnerships and collaborations also happened via NIFS. So it's fantastic.
Participants say the 3-day summit has been a valuable platform for discovery and recognition in Nigerian's film industry. Oyindamola Olukusa for Voice of the People TV.
Oyindamola, thank you for that report. And that wraps it up for us on News Hour. But before we go, though, a quick look at the headlines. Federal government confirms 2009 Asuu agreement remains binding. Also, federal government to release 2024 budget report by September. NIPOST introduces $80 charge on shipments to U.S. And again, several feared dead as boat capsizes in Sokoto. Military renames Operation Safe Haven in Plateau. And Lagos records 8,692 domestic and sexual violence cases in 1 year. And business news, all-share index falls to 0.49%. And in sports news, Ekong and Osimhen lead 23-man Super Eagles squad. In the world of entertainment, Lagos AGN inaugurates new executives. Do well to subscribe to our YouTube channel. On YouTube, we are Voice of the People TV. And other social media platforms, we are at VOP TV Live. If you witness news happening near you, we want to hear from you. Send your eyewitness reports, event coverage requests, photos or videos directly via WhatsApp to 0814-606-4057. You can also reach our newsroom by email at news@vop.nj. I am Vivian Oguche. Thank you for watching.